there's this reflex that babies, they don't do a lot by themselves. Most of the things that babies
Mm,
do is based on reflexes. And there's this
yeah.
reflex called an amphibian reflex, which actually
Mm.
starts around 4 months, where babies also start to learn how to crawl. If you put a baby that's 4 months, where this reflex is active, belly down into the water, they will start moving like a crocodile.
Yeah.
Mm,
I think it's amazing. People to
same.
find courage and to feel, to have motivation to start trying something new, especially at an environment which we are not created for. Because,
Mm.
ocean, aquatic environment, as beautiful as it looks to us, for many people, it looks hostile.
Welcome to Dive Around the World, the podcast that brings you stories, insights, and adventure from beneath the surface. Each episode, we explore the people, places, and passion that make diving more than just a sport.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Dive Around the World. Today I'm here again with Memo, and today we're talking about swimming. Thanks so much for joining me today, Memo.
My pleasure. If it's swimming, I'm in.
Today I'm going to be in the hot seat. As you guys know out there, all of us have different ranges we take care of. So Memo's obviously free diving. I'm the swim mermaid. Adam, who's usually here, obviously XR and recreational. So
Adam
today
is also a
I'm going to be
master
in
of
the hot
universe.
seat.
Yeah.
Yes, he is a master of the universe.
Yeah,
Oh, don't let it get to his head.
exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So,
So we have some updates coming up with swimming, right?
yes, 100%. So, we've had a SSI swim program for the longest time. I think we started in 2006. That was US only, but that's when it started. So, it's been around for really long, but it's only really growing in some markets because there's a bit of a limit to it. The SSI swim system, as it is like weekly classes. So, you come to a swim
Mm.
school and you do your weekly class. How you need to learn swimming in real life. So it never really functioned in resort markets like most of our SSI programs do. But now we finally found a solution with a new program called Survival Swim. This program is really not designed to teach like the full swimming experience. This program is designed to teach people how to survive in the water and how not to be so scared. So we're excited
So,
to launch this.
I think it's very exciting as well. Just let me ask one question. When we speak about swimming, of course, I mean, personally, I've started to swim seriously for the last 3 years, right? So it's my sport now. But when you say swimming, I immediately take it on the athletic side and, numbers start to fly in my head. Like I'm thinking about pace, technique, stroke, catch, pull, all this stuff. So what is this program? I mean, who is this program for? What is our target audience?
So the target audience are people who want to experience amazing things like free diving or scuba diving, but they are not able to swim. A lot of adults, and this is not something to be ashamed of at all. And I want to really reiterate this, that it's completely normal for people, even as adults, not knowing to swim. It's obviously a bit sad, but it is still normal. And depending on which country you go to, most countries up to 80% of adults cannot swim, which is crazy. And it is this huge factor of shame. And it also holds you back from doing fun water sports. You can't even go on a paddleboard or go on a kayak when you're on holiday, right? You can't also go and do a try scuba. And these people, these adults who can't swim but want to experience something in the water, those are the people who this program is made for.
So the primary difference is not a kid program. This is for an adult who would like to add a skill set to their library to join other activities, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
100%. And it's a
perfect.
bit of an introduction to swimming, right? This program is designed as a course, so it can be done on holiday. There's a bit of an academic session to it, and then there's some in-water sessions, right?
I think
But it
that's
is,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, but it's mostly in water, but it's an introduction to swimming. Swimming, as you know very well, you've been swimming now for what, 3 years? Swimming, you
Yeah,
never stop learning. You never stop learning to swim.
never.
And even after swimming for 10, 15, 20 years, you will still be like, why can't I make this work? So you will obviously not learn how to swim properly. you will learn how to survive them.
That's perfect. I mean, back in the day when I was running my training center, every season we had at least maybe 3 to 4 customers who were registering into freediving programs. And on day one, they were just smiling back at us and they say, "Hey, by the way, I didn't tell you there's a slight problem. I don't know how to swim." And we were like, "What? You joined and paid already for a free diving program, and you now tell me that you don't know how to swim." So of course we were ending up, teaching them how to swim with our own understanding. I think this is also a lifesaver for the training center to expand their business as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a nice thing also, it takes a little bit of that shame away, right? For our instructors who will be teaching this program, they also learn about why people can't swim at a certain age. For me, I became a swim teacher when I was 19. And from that point on, I was like, why adults who can't swim? What? Because that's just the world I grew up in. I grew up around water and swimming. So for me, it was completely mind blowing. But now I've been to so many countries and I've met so many people and so many adults who can swim, and you really learn and you understand why people can't swim. It's just a lack of opportunity most of the time. And it is connected to this
Exactly.
huge shame. People don't just come to you like, "Hey, did you know I can't swim?"
And I'm proud of it. No one
Never met
said that,
anybody who,
obviously. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Like an adult, they
Yeah.
will come to you, they will be ashamed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course, it's kind of a common sense to you and me. People should know how to swim before they are joining into an aquatic activity. That's kind of like basic safety for us. But let's keep it like an informational section of this podcast. Why are basic skills required for most SSI courses? What is the idea behind that in our education system?
So the idea of that is not that you need to be an amazing swimmer and you will definitely end up in a situation where you need to swim 2 kilometers to get back to shore. That's not going to happen. The idea of having basic swim requirements is that people need to be comfortable in the water, right? If you can't swim, the likelihood of you becoming panicked in a diving situation is much higher, because obviously you feel like you can't swim. You can't keep yourself from the water, even if you have all the gear. So it just gives you that safety and comfort, so you will much less likely be panicked in a diving or freediving situation.
Yeah. Learning to swim, of course, no one is proud not knowing how to swim. Do you think there is a minimum age to learn swim, or at what age someone should start learning how to swim, in a good world? Let's call it that way, given that they have the opportunity.
The perfect world, I start them at 2 to 4 months.
2 to 4 months. My God.
Yes.
Do they
The
swim or
perfect world.
float? Yeah.
Both. So this is
Both.
really fun. There's this reflex that babies, they don't do a lot by themselves. Most of the things that babies do is based on reflexes. And there's this reflex called an amphibian reflex, which actually starts around 4 months, where babies also start to learn how to crawl. If you put a baby that's 4 months, where this reflex is active, belly down into the water, they will start moving like a crocodile and they start swimming. It's the
Death
cutest
wobble.
thing. It's so fun. Yeah. Yeah. And
Well,
babies,
I mean, guys, this is a survival mechanism for the parents. New parents, don't try it on your own baby.
no.
Yeah, please.
Good disclaimer. Always do it with a qualified swim teacher, of course.
Exactly.
In those cases,
yeah.
the babies actually swim with adults. But on another range of that age scale, it's never too late. The oldest person I have taught to swim was 76.
Yeah,
and
mine
I know
was
people that
50
were older.
something. Yeah. I think it's amazing. People to find courage and to feel, to have motivation to start trying something new, especially at an environment which we are not created for. Because, ocean, aquatic environment, as beautiful as it looks to us, for many people, it looks hostile. They don't look into the blue and they say, oh, how romantic. They say, oh my God, so scary.
Yes.
Like to change to make the switch in the mind is not everyone's cup of tea, I would say. It really requires something. Yeah.
It's a huge step. And also, one thing that is important to note is that kids have a much easier time to learn a new physical activity like swimming. Swimming is very different because the way you have to like create buoyancy in the water and the way you have to float in the water is something that you need to learn. The earlier in life you learn this, the more natural it comes to you. As an adult, it becomes really difficult to learn to swim just because it's a completely different movement of anything. Like if you know how to walk, learning to run or going jogging it's like doable, but not
Yeah.
being in the water at all and learning how to swim, how to be perfectly buoyant in the water and how to move yourself forward is
I mean,
a
let alone
huge thing.
perfectly buoyant, just buoyant. That's a huge challenge for many. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
issue. All right. So, thinking about an adult learner, or in our case, the typical survival swim candidate, the student of this program, what are the most critical survival skills they should learn in this program?
So one of the first things we do, and this we do with kids, adults, whoever, is 2 skills. The first one is, what do you do if you fall into a pool? Because if people fall into a pool, they usually fall forward. In panic, you try to get to the closest place where you can climb out. But this is your field of view. So what happens is they usually try to swim to the other end across the pool. And this is where they will get in trouble. So what do you do if you fall into the pool? You have to turn around and grab the wall because the wall is behind you. You just don't see it. So we practice this one over and over again. This is just something so it gets into muscle memory. When you fall in, you turn around, grab the wall. That's our first skill. And our second skill is, what do you do if you fall off a boat? Or if you fall into any type of water where you can't grab a wall, into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And that we will focus on back floats. So floating on your back is the most underrated skill in swimming or in water survival.
Mm-hmm.
Floating on your back, first of all, you do not need a lot of energy. You can breathe, you can call for help. And then
Exactly.
we add to that, we add a survival backstroke. So we add how to move a little bit from that place. And then we also learn how to do like basic forward movement with kicking. In survival swim, we will not learn how to do a perfect freestyle. That is just not doable. But you will learn how to move forward in the water.
Yeah. You're kind of a crawl.
Kind of a
Somehow.
crawl. And we also do add in this, because we also focus on doing the water safety, water fitness test, for example, for open water, which you're allowed to do with snorkeling gear. So they do also have the option to snorkel the final distance. So they
Obviously.
do
I
have
mean,
that
the
option.
snorkel equipment makes the life so much easier. First of all, you see underwater, you keep breathing, it adds a little bit of a flotation. So it's, like you have the confidence and the comfort coming from the equipment in a very easy way.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Before we change the topic, I have another question. So you just said that if someone falls into the water, when the panic kicks in, they try to reach exactly to the first place they see, that's in their vision. What are the things they should absolutely not do?
First thing, panic.
Perfect. Yeah.
I always tell this to my adult
I'm not
swimmers.
panicking. Yeah.
They're like, let's go into the deep water and then practice not panicking. Obviously, this is the hardest thing. But what happens is, if you panic, first of all, your muscles you become stiff. That makes your muscles more dense, which makes you less buoyant, which makes you more syncopal.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Then the second thing is, you need to try and not look around. Treading water is one of the silliest things we teach people, but we teach it to people because adults, they need to see what's happening. What's going on? I want to see what's happening, right? With kids, we don't even teach them that. We go straight for back float, because why work if you can relax, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so don't hyperventilate. Hyperventilation obviously being bad in 2 ways. The first one, if you hyperventilate, you don't oxygenate your body properly. at all. Second part is hyperventilating is a really forced inhalation usually. And if water splashes around you and you forcefully inhale, the likelihood of water ending up in your lungs is higher. So try to
Yeah.
get your head back, try to relax, and if in any way possible, get into that back floating position. Don't panic, don't hyperventilate, and try to keep your body as relaxed as possible.
Yeah. Super good. So during this program, are the students getting enough chance to master these stay calm and survive skills? Does it really make a difference in open water environment for the participants? Like in lake or ocean or you name it?
So the program can be done entirely in confined water, which is pools, or even it can be confined open water. So it can be done entirely in confined water, but we do recommend also an open water session, which is part of the practical application, but it's not mandatory, it's optional. But even if you're already comfortable in the pool, getting into open water is often a big step, because people often are scared not of water in general, but they're scared of open water. So learning to apply those same skills that you've just done and mastered in the pool in the open water is a huge opportunity. Having a teacher there makes it so much easier and so much better. So they definitely do learn to apply the skills in open water if they want to.
And what did you say
It
was the
can be
duration of the
easily.
program? Yeah.
The program is usually 2 to 3 days.
And it's less time for practicing, right? That's good.
Yeah, there is definitely some time for practicing. And yeah, we also discuss all the open water things in the academic. So weather conditions, waves, currents, things that you need to know about. And the one thing for me that nobody ever realizes is rip currents. If you don't understand rip currents, I live in South Africa, so the currents here are crazy.
Yeah.
The craziest thing is, if you go to the beach is wild and you have lots of waves, and then you have these spots that are super quiet and super calm. This is obviously where people would like to go because they think, oh, this is the calm spot. This is where I'm going. I'm not going to go run into the 3-meter high waves. But they don't realize that those are usually the rip currents. And a rip current can drag you out in seconds. There's like a little bit of a wave that lifts you off your feet in the sand and you're gone. And learning to deal with this and even just having the knowledge and understanding what to do in a rip current can save so many lives.
I can second that. I've been teaching about these programs, like the freediving books always had a section about the tides, waves, currents, and rip currents are one of the topics that we've always been talking about. The first time, and we don't have rip currents in Turkey, at least not in the west coast or south coast, usually on the north coast, which is far from me. The first time I got tricked with a rip current, I was in Thailand, and it's exactly as you described. In 3 seconds, you find yourself a couple of 100 meters away from the shore. For someone who is not comfortable with the environment or the skills, that can be a huge issue. Huge issue. Yeah.
Yeah, you like to swim in open water, though. It's your preferred conditions, right?
Yes, I do a lot of open water swimming. It's my favorite way of, I join the competitions and all, but it's, forget about your basic swim skills. It's all about navigating in the elements, right? In the conditions, real world conditions. So we do a lot of sighting. In other words, every X amount of strokes, you have to lift up your head slightly and see if you're following your plan. But yet, there are sometimes currents which can beat you down, and there is no way around it. Unfortunately, we are not greater than the mother ocean. So if it just comes to the point, so exactly as you say, to stay calm and accept it. That's what we do sometimes. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah.
All right.
The ocean can be scary.
Yeah, but if you prefer not to understand it, I think it can be a scary place for sure.
It's worse. But I think losing respect for the ocean is one of the most dangerous things you can ever do.
Yeah. The number one rule of starting a dive is always, if you're in doubt, the answer is obvious. It's a no. If you doubt yourself, the conditions, then the answer is obvious. You're just giving it to yourself. You shouldn't do it. That's the rule. Yeah.
And that's for anything we do.
Exactly. That's the thing. Are there any misconceptions that people have about, swim safety or swimming?
For swimming and swim safety in general, the first thing I would say is that any inflatable flotation device can save your life. The one thing that is still great is the freediving buoys are made a bit different, but I'm now talking about, there's inflatable life vests or floaties that you put on kids, or
Yeah,
these gigantic unicorns and swans that people sit on. Those are never, ever a safety device, and they will usually break on you when you need them the most.
I can expect that for sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if you're giving these floaties to the kids, usually instead of putting them on their arms, they put them on their legs, which turn them into an upside down float.
Yep.
That's not also useful.
That's what I
Kids have
used to do
some
with my
imaginations,
floaties.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, floaties in general, just as a public safety announcement, in SSI Swim as a whole, we do not support floaties. First of all, they put you into the wrong body position. Like the kids, they end up in this position where the arms are up like this and their feet are dangling down, which is wrong. Most of them, if they wiggle their arms up a little bit, or if they jump in with their arms up, they will come off. And
Yeah.
it's just that false sense of security that floaties can provide, because now kids who have floaties all the time, they will just jump in and feel like, I can swim. So we will always prefer life vests, properly fitted life vests, comfortable life vests. And no matter what you put on a child, it never, ever replaces adult supervision.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, obviously. But nothing beats a life vest, like a proper life vest, which gives a little bit of a more flotation on the front side, kind of motivating this back float position. That's the best, I suppose. Another question. Are there any myths about drowning? People still believe.
There's a lot of drowning. Drowning is this huge thing. First of all, one of the ones that people think is you can only drown in deep water. The amount of people who drown essentially in puddles on a yearly basis is incredible. Drowning is one of the leading causes of accidental death worldwide. In most countries, it's within the top 3, which is crazy. Accidental
Yeah.
deaths. In children, drowning is more deadly than car accidents or anything else you can imagine. So it is so crazy. So you can drown in really shallow water. Another thing is pools. People have pools in their backyards. Anything you
Yeah.
can put on a pool or around a pool, a child will be able to get around. You have to keep your eyes on your children and even on adults who are in and around pools. And as adults also, being able to stand in a pool is one of the biggest myths you can get around. Most pools have slopes.
Mm-hmm.
Usually a slope creates this like downward drag. If you stand on a slope and comfortably stand and the water's up to here, most likely you will not be able to get back up the slope. It will drag you further down, and if you then can't
Yeah.
swim and can't get yourself into a situation where you float on your back, then you will also end up in trouble. First of all, no matter what conditions, if you come to a new place and you do not know the water there, you have to inform yourself about the safety situations in this water. Speak to local lifeguards or even just locals. Find out before you enter the water what keeps you safe. Another one is, again, children will never, no matter how far they can already swim, you can never leave them alone in and around water. As adults, you should never swim completely by yourself, especially in open water. Have safety devices with you. Have a safety buoy with you. But not just that. You should generally just not be alone, because no matter how good of a swimmer, you and me both, we know this. If we get in trouble in the middle of a lake and we have a cramp, this is how people can die. So
Yeah.
swimming, always swim within your abilities.
No, I
That's another one.
100% agree with that, especially the swim floats. It's exceptionally useful tool. You can hang on it, you can rest on it. Don't let the size of a swim buoy, irritate you. In my opinion, unless you're racing, unless you have a performance factor in your in your swimming, the bigger the better, because you can grab it more easily. It will give you better flotation. And Corinna is 100% right. Cramps are common, especially if you are spending a lot of time in the water. And you should have something to hang on, or someone better to help you to get rid of that simple situation, to finish the day with a laugh. That's exceptionally important as well. Anything else, Corinna? Would you like to add something about
Yes.
our new program?
One last message: not being able to swim as an adult is not embarrassing, and it is not your fault, but it is your fault if you're not deciding to choose to learn to swim now. It is better for your kids. It's better for just even going on holiday. You are able to now go on holiday wherever, and you can try cool things like scuba diving.
Exactly. It just gives you the keys to enter a magnificent world full of blue
100%.
fishes, underwater creatures. I think it's cool. Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Memo. Thank
my
you, everyone,
pleasure.
for listening, as always. And as you know, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. It does help us, and it helps us grow our platform. And we obviously want to share water safety, but also amazing stories about the underwater world with the entire world. Get more people excited.
If you would like to hear us speaking about other topics that you're curious, also use the comments. Whichever the platform you're using, we are always following the comments. Your ideas motivate us, and we can talk about what you want to hear as well.
Our next episode will be in 2 weeks. It will be another fun one between Memo, Adam, and myself. So make sure to listen in, and we're excited to have you.